Hey, happy Monday. Welcome back. Again, we're going to try to keep this a little bit shorter to see if that helps with anything. I know it takes a while to go through one of these videos, and it's as you're scrolling through, you don't want to waste that much time. So we're going to try to keep these to 3 minutes, 3-minute update. And our first case is one that garnered quite a bit of attention. It was State versus Randy Barnhill, a 60-year-old man that pled under North Carolina versus Alford to first-degree criminal sexual conduct. He was looking at up to 30 years. The judge gave him a sentence of 30 years, suspended to 18. That created a lot of chatter. What I want you to know is we didn't make any recommendation. We allowed him to plea under Alford, and I'll explain that in just a second. But he could have got up to 30 years. This was for a series of rapes back in about 20 years ago, but it went unsolved for forever. So it wasn't a 20-year-old case that we allowed to get 20 years old. It was a case that he just got arrested on because of changes with DNA. And basically what it was is familial DNA, where they were able to take our traditional DNA and go a step further and say, this is the relationship to this person, and then it narrows the search down. The police did an excellent job staying on top of this unsolved case, and he ended up getting 18 years. He's 60 years old, so he will be somewhere just shy of 80 when he gets out. But North Carolina versus Alford is for cases when a person cannot say guilty or not guilty. They just can't admit to what they've done. So they say, look, I'm basically not contesting the charges. You sentence me as though I'm guilty, but I am not going to speak the words I'm guilty. That's North Carolina versus Alford. There's another thing that's very similar. It's called nolo contendere. In other words, I don't contest in Latin. Either way, it's saying I can't force myself to say I did it, but go ahead and punish me as though I did it. And he got 18 years on that. A 45-year-old man, Richard Quick, 45, from Myrtle Beach, pled to a second offense of distribution of crack cocaine and distribution of methamphetamines, and he had a firearm. So he pled to those charges at the eve of trial, and he was sentenced to 12 years on that. He had, it's going to be classified as a serious crime on his record, and he will have to serve 85% of that 12 years, about 10 years before he comes up for parole. But Mr. Quick is a person that sort of bounced around and had some priors, and that's what got him the major 12-year sentence. So those are a couple that we highlight this week. We'll be back again. We're not in court this week. They're doing civil cases. But we'll be back next week. So if you've got any questions, topics that you want discussed, throw them in the comments or email us. We'll be glad to touch on that. Have a great week.